Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kind of a depressing time in our country and across the world because the impending spread of the coronavirus, the threat of that. And so I thought I'd do something a little fun today. Retro gaming conventions are being shut down, canceled, postponed, mostly shut down all across the country, as are, big gatherings of all kinds because of the fear of the spread. And I thought I would just talk a little bit about a convention I went to a couple of years ago, the Game On Expo in Phoenix, Arizona, the one run by John Lester, YouTuber. Well, I did a panel at that show with another YouTuber, John Riggs, good friend of mine. Both guys really cool. And John Riggs and I, we talked about video game history, he does rigged games, that's his YouTube channel. And he does, open cart surgery, like he repairs NES games. He reviews cereal, he does gameplay, reviews, he's reviewed my books, different things like that. And John was nice enough to write a story for my the first book in my SNES Omnibus set, the SNES Omnibus Volume 1. He wrote a story about Mario Paint. Now, he took the seemingly innocent Mario Paint game when he was a kid and made it into something decidedly violent. Is the game more violent than Mortal Kombat? Sounds like it to me. Now, Mario Paint, as many of you know, is a art program, and you can create animations and pictures and all kinds of stuff on it. It's neat. And in the book, it's very nicely laid out, the Mario Paint page with a box art, cartridge, screenshots and stuff like that. And John Riggs wrote the Insider Insight. And at that convention, at Game On Expo a couple of years ago, John read his story from this book at our panel. That was kind of him, and it was kind of him to write the story for the book to begin with. It is a funny story, and the the attendees thought it was really funny. So I'm going to read that briefly for you here. Thank you for indulging me, and thank you, John, for the story. So John wrote, "I thought Mortal Kombat was the most violent video game I would ever play. That was before my friends and I got a hold of Mario Paint. I'm not sure what drew me to the game, but I knew I had to have it the moment I heard about it. In the 80s, when I wasn't making flipbook animations, I had something called an Etch-a-Sketch Animator 2000, where you could animate a short story in pixel form. With Mario Paint, I was a little disappointed that you could only animate relatively few frames at a time. Still, thinking how creative I could get under these limitations, I decided to draw Link chopping with an axe with a blood spurt as the axe landed on the final frame on whatever it was I was cutting. I animated him chopping random objects, from a human head to a pile of cats. To make it funnier, the soundtrack I provided was a happy tune that featured cats meowing. My friends and I were rolling on the floor, laughing at our masterful creation. The creativity was endless. I shudder to think what other people animated behind closed doors." Yeah, there's no telling what people got up to, what kids, made with Mario Paint, what kind of violent carnage, what violent scenes they created. Indeed, making it a more violent video game than Mortal Kombat. This kind of reminds me when I was a kid. We used to play, my best friend Gerald and I, who lived next door, we would do Mad Libs. Those were those tablets with, stories, sentences, where you would insert, that would have blanks, where you would insert nouns, pronouns, verbs, and the like, adjectives and adverbs, and you would just make a story that was creative or interesting or goofy or dumb or even dirty. My friend Gerald and I would, just put in ridiculous stories like words, boogers, butts, boobs, whatever, just to make the stories ridiculous. That's kind of how kids are, a little anarchists when it comes to stuff like that. My son, if you remember the Mad Libs format, just a little tablet. My son collects Survivor memorabilia, and he has these Survivors Mad Libs, and just as a collectible. He's too old to actually do the, fill in the blanks. Wasn't really interested in that, but he has that for his collection. And I remember when I was a kid, there were Marvel Comics Mad Libs and all kinds of themed Mad Libs. I think the ones we had were just like the ordinary ones with the numbered up front, like Mad Libs 1 or 2 or whatever. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. And John's story about Mario Paint, where they took just, a seemingly innocent, kids, toy or whatever, game in this case, and made it into something, you know, just kind of edgy. You know, that's what kids do. It's a lot of fun that way, and just reminded me of that. So anyway, thanks, John, and thank you guys for watching. What are your memories of Mario Paint? Did you ever make, you know, anything violent or strange? Did you turn Mario Paint into a violent game? Leave it in the comments below. I'd like to hear your stories. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for liking this video, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. We will talk to you guys later, and y'all have a good day. Be safe and healthy.